Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder of CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku. With the Investor News Channel app, 5 ways to watch, 5 times the fun, 5x margin on this Bitcoin short. Let's go, people. We've got a fantastic show for you guys today. If you want to support what we're doing on this channel by spreading this awareness to the cryptocurrency community, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat and in the comments section down below. We highly appreciate that. All we do is grow this community, and you guys are absolutely fantastic. We highly appreciate it. Now, such a good show. Such a good show. I've got so much to talk about. Let's get going, guys. Today's show is brought to you by the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. If you would like to join us in our adventure in conquering the markets, make sure to check out the link at the top of the screen. It is today at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link is in the description down below for a full explanation of exactly what we do. Make sure to hit us up in the Discord if you have any questions, and join our free Discord community at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. I also want to thank this month's continued friend of the channel and crypto comment giveaway sponsor, because we do give away crypto every single day on this channel, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io, whether you have a website that you need worked on or whether you need security for your project. Check them out. All right, without further ado, guys, we're going to do a roll call here in just a second. Let's head on over to the live scene, give away some crypto, and break down this market, because for the love of God, if I have gotten anything over the last few hours, it has been DMs about price action. Let's go. Hey, we don't go here first. We go here first. Bam, into the live scene. All right, sorry about that. Now, we're going to give away some crypto by selecting a random YouTube commenter. And yesterday's candle was large, girthy. Yesterday's show was Bitcoin's Jericho candle punishes shorts. The trend punishes longs. Live trading and analysis. Make sure to go check out yesterday's video. I put up the timestamps last night. Sorry that it was a little delayed. I had some family stuff to take care of, but it was a very good episode. Especially watch the clip about the truth about being a profitable trader and the reality that everybody running around saying that they have a bead on market direction is not being fully honest with you. Randomly picking a winner, and it was Wendy. Thank you so much for the continued support, hanging out over there on DLive, I'm sure. Thank you so much, my friend. Get a hold of me in the Discord, and I will send you some crypto into the more sustained live scene over here. All right, we do have XLM pulled up. We're going to go right into BTC as we pull up here. Everything's looking good, just double checking. Let's hop into the live chat here real quick and do the roll call. How are we doing, everybody? We've got Ruben, Dario, we've got Itzhar, GBU Professor Wally, Maker Shift, we've got MT Coiner, Ricky Thompson, Bob the Builder as always, Ron Legato, Caprica, Farbod, Mr. Ether, the one and the only Sovereign Hustle 618. Really like that name, my friend. Big Saintsy over there on DLive. Mr. Ferguson. Justin, did you send all this snow to Michigan? I sure didn't. If there's anything that I love, it is nothing but 4 to 5 inches of snow sitting outside my house every single day. I just love pulling out that snowblower. Pro tip, for those of you who ride, throw a motorcycle helmet on the next time you pull out the snowblower. Feels like you're riding, and it protects your face from the snow. Life hack. All right. Digital Daddy, with big respect from Russia. Thank you for your content. Thank you so much, my brother from another country. Dark Rico, DIY Guy, Knit and Soki, Larry Z. And if I forgot anybody, just know that I still love you. All right. To the live scene. Okay, got the ByBit chart behind me in an active position, in an active short. We'll break that down here in just a second. But let's start off, as we always do, by just taking a deep breath. We have years to trade. We've had years to trade. There are many time frames to trade. It's okay. Direction, up, down, it's okay. The long-term goal as a trader is profitability, not being right. And again, losing that ego, losing that sense of having to be right is the biggest step that you can make toward being a profitable trader. But to do that, you need a system. So let's talk about the system. On the daily time frame, we have our second consecutive close below the baseline after a brief pop-up. This is consolidation, i.e. that very treacherous ranging that annoys so many people and allows for reversion to the mean strategies to be quite profitable on lower time frames, also directional trades to be profitable on lower time frames. The problem with those is that the tricky part is knowing when to turn them on and knowing when to turn them off. However, we talked about this yesterday. Volatility Filter did a good job of keeping us out of active positions. It would not have had us going for the long on this break above the baseline. So on this candle, when many individuals bought this top, went long on this closure. This is the candle that closed on November the 11th. This candle, so excuse me, I'm biased for my time frame, so we'll just use UTC. This is the candle of November the 10th. This signaled a lot of individuals to go long. A lot of people felt that this was the rally off of the bottom. And what did they wake up to? They woke up to getting absolutely punished as price plummeted back to that 8.5 level. We now have again a fairly run-of-the-mill indecision candle. Actually, before I get into this, I want to make sure that I pull up my notes so that I do touch on everything that I want to talk about. Okay, so obviously on the daily time frame, we are still in a bearish structure. Everything is, we don't have an active daily short to the downside. So we're not actually looking for a sustained movement to the downside, but we are still in shorting territory. Now, we've talked about this order block at 8.5, but before we get to that, there is not an exit signal for our short position. So give you guys an update on my position. I did end up taking the 12-hour short. I did not decide to take the split trade. The reason why is because I was long already on Ethereum. I was already long on Ethereum. So I decided to, by proxy, hold my Ethereum USD long open because of the correlation between the USD pairs. I actually did not end up opening up a long on Bitcoin last night. I just took the 12-hour signal at the close of the daily time, of the close of the daily candle, which is also when the 12-hour candle closes. It closes twice a day, obviously midday, and then obviously at midnight UTC time, beginning of the fresh day. That's actually 6 p.m. my time and 6 a.m. my time. So two candles that are very easy to catch if you are waking up early and if you are not going to bed by 6 p.m. in the Central Standard Time, which is quite crazy. Of course, different strokes for different folks. Now, I don't want to call it a long-legged doji. It's a long-legged doji on anything but the daily, but on the daily, it's just more of an actual doji, which is an indecision candle, but it's not a regular doji. Again, if you go down and kind of look at the structure of the candle, it is a little bit more long-legged, which typically indicates continuation of the trend. It's an indecision candle, and indecision candles that have long legs, as opposed to very squat, short doji candles, which are just very compact, robust pieces of fun. When you see a candle like this, long-legged doji means that this is a liquidity grab, and we can see this on the lower time frames. Price ran to the upside, price ran to the downside. So we saw two stop loss hunts in a very short period of time. We saw a very quick liquidity grab. Price moved up on high momentum and high volatility. Crashed out all individuals that were in short position. Not all individuals. Obviously, I wasn't touched because my stop is around the 9.1 level. But anybody that was trying to short on lower time frames, obviously there is a lot of unfortunate gambling in the cryptocurrency markets. There always will be in speculation. But anyways, liquidity grab to the upside. We'll see this when we go into the lower time frames. Tapped out liquidity to the upside, grabbed the stop market orders of people that were short, and then took price to the downside. And again, the exact same thing happens. However, an indecision candle like that, generally when I see a bi-directional stop loss hunt, typically for me, that generally leads to continuation of the trend, unlike a regular doji, which is a fairly, I would say, reliable as far as price action goes, indication of market reversal or potential market reversal. So we'll just wait at this point in time. The only other extenuating factor, of course, is that order block that we have bounced off of, tapped twice for liquidity sitting at 8.5. But seeing the long-legged doji, I would be more inclined to believe that we do actually get a descent down into the in-between region between 8.5 and 8.2. to grab more liquidity, because of course that is our secondary level of support and supply sitting down below that. Again, breaking down below that level, as I said yesterday, 8.2, then I'm going to have to be much more long-term bearish at this point in time. Again, just kind of, sometimes you just have to fall in line with seeing the continual lower highs, continual lower highs, continual lower highs, and continual lower lows. So we'll see what the market brings us. But as we sit right now, I am in an active 12-hour short. I did take the opportunity this morning. As I said yesterday, I talked about taking that split position yesterday, essentially taking a long and a short on Bitcoin after after discussion with my team and figuring out what made the most sense. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Alex, not Alex the analyst, but Alex the member. Thank you so much for your well thought out thoughts. Again, you send me messages; they really make me think. And I thought about that idea quite a bit in terms of fees, in terms of structure. And I did end up deciding to just hold open the long that I was considering opening up, because I was out of position yesterday, as we discussed. I had no active Bitcoin position. I have an active 12-hour short now. I did decide to just keep the Ethereum USD long open by proxy and then hold the Bitcoin short. Now, I took the opportunity on this rise up, it was just about a couple hours ago. I went ahead and exited the Ethereum USD, not at break even, at a very small loss, which is good relative to where my stop loss was placed. So it was very, very, very marginal, and that's fine because I was allowed to then push my risk over to the Bitcoin USD short. Now, I haven't actually added to that position size. I do want to see price move in my direction before I consider scaling in. So as we sit right now, just have the BTC USD 12-hour short position open. Now, and the 12-hour has not changed one bit. Let's actually go take a look at that. Let's go down to the 12-hour time frame, and we can kind of look at this continuation signal that we received. This hasn't changed one bit. Long volume, long-legged doji on the 12-hour time frame. We have not gotten an exit signal whatsoever. Now, let's let's go to the 4-hour time frame, as we can see here, and we'll look kind of what our setups here were in the past. Obviously, if we go here, boom, right here would have been our first full risk short signal. We would have had about 12 hours of drawdown, and then price would have moved quite favorably in our direction. And then we actually do get the exit signal over here, pretty much right at the bottom. I just love how Minx has the kind of added benefit of crossing lines to the upside. Gives a cross under typically on a down candle, and gives a cross under typically on an up candle. Not always, not all the time. It's not always sweet like that, but when it does work, which is quite often, it does do good things. And I certainly hope so, because it took a lot of work. And we talked about on the 4-hour time frame exactly where that Jericho candle ended up pumping up to. Which was the 4-hour baseline, setting us up for a nice 4-hour reversal baseline short, reversal baseline bounce short. You had about 4, 8, 12 hours to enter into that trade before price once again moved in your direction. Overall, fairly low volatility, fairly low volume over the last couple of days. Honestly, quite a boring market structure, to be quite honest, except for this beginning of 2 days ago, which kind of led us to this downward descent. But overall, just drifting lazily along the bottom here, right along this level of supply at 8.588. And there's no setup to really be taking that I feel is appropriate here on the 4-hour setup. We really need to see price above 8.9. That is where our 4-hour baseline is, to be looking for a 4-hour setup. But however, the time frame that I find far more reliable than the 4 hours is actually going to be the 2-hour. I do find the 2 hours one of the better time frames to be building structures and systems around. It strikes a nice balance on meso time frames of being quite active. And as long as you're managing your risk, you're not taking 2 to 3% risk. I think the 2-hour is better positioned for half a percentile risk or 1% risk. And that's kind of pushing it, to be quite honest with you. But it depends on the efficiency of your system and your percent profit, not your percent profitability, but your actual adjusted P&L returns over your data set. So I'm taking a drink of water, and again, yeah, we can see the volume. Now, typically, there's a few interesting things that I do want to point out here. Good volume to the downside on this candle, and then a long-legged doji right here. Now, although I am keen to say, when I do point out price action structures that I do like dojis. I do like to see dojis. They're fairly reliable. If we're going to be talking about subjective analysis of the market. But in my experience, when I do see a long-legged doji, although it will give us this little bit of a rise to the upside or, counter-reversional trend, which is just typically what happens when you have an extreme amount of volume at a market, at a local top or bottom, which we are at the local bottom at this point in time, or were at this candle right here. It often does indicate continuation of the trend to the downside. So we've got some time right here on the 2-hour time frame. You actually are getting an exit signal on your short. So if you were in an active short from back here, which you would have gotten the signal on this candle right here, as we talked about, and then actually you got the exit signal on this candle. So you just grabbed this quick little nice massive volatile candle of profit, and then you're out pretty much again at the bottom after tagging 2 of your 3 take profits with this setup. Which for the 2-hour time frame, you're definitely looking at 1, 2, 3 take profit structure as we teach in the group, as opposed to 50-50, but I digress. You actually are getting the exit signal on the 2-hour time frame right now. You do need to see price above 8.849 if you're only using the baseline to be pulling you out of the trade. So I don't really see anything. Again, there's also not a trade here as well. There's no trending trade. There's no continuation trade. There's not an appropriate reversal trade to take. I can understand taking the reversal trade maybe on this crossover. Again, on the 2-hour time frame, you do have that kind of high volatility to the downside. Now, overall, I do feel based on the higher time frames, clearly those are the signals that we're getting, that price does continue to droop down a little bit more and that we do get more volatility to the downside. But we could see price run up to 8.849, which would be a little uncomfortable for my short, but again, something I've prepared and planned for, and I have other positions that are balancing this out as well. Now, I want to go down to the 15-minute time frame and just kind of deconstruct this the stop loss hunt, and here we can see it right here. You have price moving along in very boring consolidation, and then a volatile movement to the upside, high volume, and then just as equally high volume taking it to the downside, and just as equally high volume here in the opposing realm. And this is always nasty to see. This is always what makes trading the lower time frames extremely difficult in cryptocurrency. Again, this is bot and algo territory. This is not manual trader territory. But kudos to anybody who was able to garner profit off of these movements. Again, these were fairly big movements on the 15-minute time frame, and we are getting a little bit of barting back up to the upside right here. But again, I just want to point out short-lived to the upside, short-lived to the downside. So just be careful with these movements and be monitoring the higher time frames. They're a very good, clean signal. Now, what is interesting is we will be monitoring the 12-hour here fairly closely. As annoying as it can be sometimes, I am a proponent of trading this way. You want to, anytime you take every signal that your system gives you, you take the signals that your system gives you, because in the long run, once you've back tested and forward tested your system appropriately, you know that it will garner profit for you if you just follow the rules. Now, it's possible that looking at this 12-hour close, that we actually will be getting an exit signal, meaning we'll just be cashing out with a little bit of profit on this Bitcoin position and waiting for a reentry signal, most likely moving down to the lower time frames or watching the 12 or the 24, waiting for that very strong entry signal to take the directional trend. And although my bias is to the downside, if the 12-hour tells me to get out on a trade that I entered on the 12-hour, I will do that. But we don't have confirmation of that yet. We've got about 5.5 hours before we actually get confirmation of that. But currently, where we're sitting on Minx, we don't have that yet. It is not confirmed. We do have the noise line at 64.23, and we have the Minx line at 64.36, meaning the noise line is still currently above the Minx line, i.e. we are still okay to stay in our short position, but it's only going to take a little bit of price appreciation to the upside to flip that structure the opposite way and give us that crossover. So stay tuned. We'll break that down here in just a little bit. Now, we'll take a brief break here for just a moment, get over to the live chat, and of course, GBU Wally tossing those hardcore bands around. He says, at Roy Coin, super chats work like this. Some people think they're better than others and throw money around. Others, like me, use super chats to send portions of their profitable trades as thanks. You know, Wally, thank you for the continued support, my good friend, and shout out to you in your profitability as well. I'm very pleased, and thank you for being a member of our community. Highly appreciate the support. Roy Coin says, Justin, give my girlfriend a shout out. Her name is Judith. Make her feel special. Well, Judith, you got a good guy there, and thank you for watching us on the live stream today. All right, you go chill over on DLive. How you doing, my friend? Crypto Jack Satoshi Nakafomo. He says, hey, how do I get the 12-hour time frame? You just hit the 12-hour button. Now, I'm not sure. I've had the, what is it? The, like the premium or the, I don't know, whatever the super dope package over on TradingView is for quite a long time. I need that for the indicator access that I do. You know, I do know that I've heard rumors at least that they started like moving stuff around. So it's possible that with the free TradingView account, you won't get access to all those time frames. For example, like I know that with the super dope account, you do get the 1 second time frame, which is treacherous. Wayne Art saying, smash the thumbs up, crypto fam. Thank you so much, my friend. Randall McMurphy says, when bull run? 2020. Robin Waldvogel, actually, if I'm pronouncing that correct, auf Deutsch, says, I was in a long trade and just sold 50% in that big spike. So I am sitting on the other half and thinking whether I should sell it with a small loss to have overall profit. Any opinions on it? I don't think that that's a terrible decision. I think that the safer option is always closing that trade out on profit, especially if the markets move significantly against you and if you don't have a firm beat. Typically, again, this is always my default question almost, and so I don't want to minimize your question because it's a serious question and independent. But if you look at, as with all things, as with trading strategies, you know, the specific instance is less important than developing that rule set that you're going to apply consistently over all trades. So, i.e., that means if you're asking that question, that means you've lost the conviction and confidence that you had when you first entered into the position, and now you're sitting there unsure of what to do. If you're unsure of what to do, then you should not be in the market, because being in the market means that you have a game plan. Whenever you hit the button to enter into a trade, you need to have a plan. You need to know exactly when you're going to get out. You need to know exactly when you're going to take profit. You need to know exactly when you're going to cut a loss, and you need to know exactly when you're going to break even. All these things need to be systemic, and they need to be honed into your brain with repetition and with just discipline. So if you're asking that question, that means that you've lost the conviction and confidence and discipline that you had when you first entered into the position, i.e. you have no reason to be in the market whatsoever, because now you're just gambling. If you're staying in the market and you don't know what to do and you've lost your game plan, you're now gambling, you're no longer trading. And generally, when people gamble, they lose money. So statistically, you're going to lose money if you don't exit. Just saying. And it doesn't really matter if you make or lose money based on this one instance, based on this one trade. You have to think about, what habits am I building up for the long term as a trader? Because that's the most important. The systemic approach is the most important thing. Oh, you know what? I love this chair, but I always slide in it. All right, it's 12:25, guys. And with that being said about Bitcoin, I'd like to take us over to today's Bitcoin weather report with junior analyst Midwest Attempts. Midwest Attempts, what do you got for us today?
Dump it. Dump it all. Just get rid of it. It's going to zero. Back to you. Back to you.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Midwest Attempts. Hang in there, buddy. Just hang in there, man. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, stiff upper lip. All right. Okay, let's go to Ethereum now. Now, as I said, I'll tell you what, guys. I really love doing the skits with Midwest Attempts. He's absolutely awesome. Don Camden, thank you so much for the nine crones, my good friend. Hopefully, you're doing absolutely fantastic over there, my friend. Maker shift. It's gonna rain. That was the genesis of the idea. Yeah. Okay. Over here on Ethereum. Ethereum USD on the daily, I did take the opportunity to exit out of my daily long position, as we talked about earlier, at a very, very minimal loss. It was essentially break even, but not quite break even. There were a few dollars lost on the trade, and that's okay. It's balanced out with the Bitcoin the Bitcoin short position, which is exactly what I had structured for. And now again, if the Bitcoin short position ends up moving the opposite direction, then most likely I will just be kicked back into the Ethereum long. So. Things work out quite well. I'll actually be posting that structured trade setup tonight for the premium members. I did post my morning analysis this morning of exactly what we were going to do as well. Anywho's, here on Ethereum on the daily, we back within the buy zone. We did close back within the buy zone yesterday. What that means, the buy zone stretches from 185.09 on the daily down to 176.25. Fairly, I feel like... wonder if... must be on the BitMEX chart. Yes, here we go. This is the range that we talked about yesterday. Now, again, over here on the BitMEX chart, same numbers, 176.25 for our baseline, but let us not discount the order block. We can trace it back quite a bit. So essentially, we are looking at a range between 192 and 181. I would be interested to continue to take, again, if we were looking at reversal trades, I would continue to be interested in taking trades to the upside. Anything that comes down into that lower vicinity of 181 to 176.25, I feel would be opportune. Reversal baseline bounces, so PTP qualification trades. And also, again, holding that same breakout structure that I like to see as far as price action goes. When we have a significant market sell-off, price comes up, we have a consistent level of resistance, i.e. supply, and we continue to consolidate and form higher lows while holding a low above the median of the distance between the low and the high of the run-up from the low to resistance. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Essentially, I say that a lot, and all I mean is that we had a big sell-off, we formed a low, we had a nice pump back up to resistance. Doesn't matter if it's a pump, doesn't matter if it's a gradual movement. All it matters is we get from the low to a consistent level of supply, i.e. resistance, and then we consolidate while holding a low that is higher than the median, i.e. the middle, the absolute middle of the difference between that price difference, the high and the low, or resistance and the low. And we're doing that with Ethereum. And we are in bullish territory. We are above the daily baseline. Our commodity channel index is in bullish territory. Minx is in bullish territory. But we do have the danger of getting a trend flip here because Minx is potentially threatening at dropping below the zero line. So is commodity channel index threatening at dropping below the zero line, pointed down quite strongly. So let's be a little cautious here. And that is why I exited my position, because I just feel that the risk of dipping further back down into that area is a little bit more sustained. We wicked down fairly closely, but I'd like to see price actually close and preferably put in a little bit more of a squat doji at that point in time. Until then, I just kind of feel like there's going to be more consolidation emerging with a droop to the downside. But again, we'll re-enter when it feels appropriate, and that'll also be based off of what we do with our Bitcoin position as well. Going down, so on the daily, there's really nothing here except for the fact that we are back within that buy zone. Let's hop back over to the Bitstamp chart, or excuse me, not the Bitstamp chart, but the ByBit chart. Here we are. And let's go down to the 12-hour time frame. 12-hour time frame is actually bearish. We are below the baseline on the 12-hour time frame. But again, volatility filter keeping us out of short trades. So doing exactly what it's supposed to do. If the volatility filter isn't telling you that isn't approving a trade, that means there's not a trade and there never was a trade at that area. Over on the 4-hour time frame, let's see what we had here. We did have would actually taken us until we got here to get this. Yeah, so nothing really strong right here. We did get a continuation signal that we potentially could have taken and maybe grabbed profit on this 4-hour trade. But as you can see, as far as trending goes, there's not a lot of trending here. Very, very slow consolidation and a big stop loss on, exactly like we saw in Bitcoin. This isn't a trending trade. This isn't a trending setup. This is where your look at the volatility filter. Every time that we've gotten, here's the close below the baseline, Minx crosses below the noise line, commodity channel index is above zero. Now, although there was a profitable opportunity here, there wasn't a strong directional trend, and that's what we're trying to capitalize on. And of course, your system might be slightly different. But our volatility filter did not approve of any of the trades around here, and that's good, because although you had a wick to the downside, entering around here, you did have this big wick to the upside. So it's protecting you from treacherous areas of the market, and that's exactly what it's designed to do. That's exactly what it's designed to do. So I don't see any opportunity here on the 4-hour time frame. The only thing that is slightly different is you actually did get a continuation signal on the previous 4-hour time frame. So on the close of this doji, now we have a little bit of ascension. So anything around 186.50, you could potentially look to take short for a reversal baseline bounce trade setup. But other than that, if we juxtapose that with the daily, though, that does fit in quite nicely if we are expecting a little bit more of a more sustained droop down to that 181, 176.25 kind of buy-in zone for the daily reversal baseline bounce. So trades within trades. So on the daily, overall bullish market structure, looking for dips, looking to accumulate dips. On the lower time frames, prices looking droopy, so we can feel more confident in wanting to take price short on the lower time frames while setting ourselves up to take price to the upside on the higher time frames. Getting down to the 2 hour. The 2 hour did give us a decent setup here. We did get a decent setup here. We had a little bit of drawdown for 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, and then we would have taken advantage of this big swift movement to the downside here and here, capitalizing on that, and an exit signal on Ethereum, just as with Bitcoin on this current 2 hour close. Would like to see price up around 187 on the 2 hour chart to potentially take it short, but I don't really see there's nothing here that's standing out to me. Again, looking at that daily, I think we have an equal opportunity to continue to have low volatility and not a pronounced movement to the downside, which is why there's just really not an active position to take. If I'm going to be in Ethereum, I'm going to be accumulating positions at lower prices around that 181, 176.25 price mark right there for the reversal baseline bounce. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking for that break and that continuation trade on the higher time frames to take price to the upside in a continuation fashion if we can get above this level of resistance, this level of supply at 191.75. All we need to do is cross and close above 191.75, and then we'll be golden. We'll be all set up for the price to take price to the upside. Cracking Crypto says there's also a coin request for later embedded in DLive. First donation over there. Let me hop over to my DLive brethren over here. Thank you guys so much for the support. You know, if you guys can help me out with this, because I've got so much going on. There's so much going on. Bossman, 148 grams. Thank you so much for the follow over here on DLive. You know, I need to figure out a way to be able to easily monitor everything that's going on across these different platforms. And Streamlabs is not doing it for me. So I don't know if we have this set up inappropriately. I don't know if what are your guys' recommendations? Anybody that has some experience with multi-streaming? Because I definitely need to because, for example, Streamlabs alerts doesn't let me know when anything happens on Twitch. And just yesterday, by the way, I want to give a big shout out to ZeroCool721. Good to see you, my friend. And Der Cryptomeister. ZeroCool subscribing for 7 months. Thank you so much, my friend. And Der Cryptomeister for 8, bringing in the big guns. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. 2 of my favorite people in the world. You guys are absolutely awesome. But I need ways to see this while I'm live so that I can shout you guys out and make sure you get the recognition you deserve for everything you do to support the stream. So if anybody has any recommendations on that, I would greatly appreciate it. I've kind of bashed my head against the wall at Streamlabs here a little bit, but let a brother know, please. Anyways, over on DLive, let's throw some lemons in this chest, guys. Tossing the lemons in the chest. We've got a 63.6 lemon chest today, guys. Let me go up and see. Wally, apparently it won't let my DLive scroll up that high. If you could let me know who that was, or what the coin request was, or if anybody would like to let me know what that coin request was over in here on DLive, I'd highly appreciate that, because I want to make sure I get to that. Okay. Don Cannon says, with one butt, you can only cover so much. Well, you know, desk job and the butt is getting wider as the days progress, so it can cover quite a bit. I'm not to the point where I have to ask for the plus size seat on the airplane yet, but I definitely need to be popping out some more Bitcoin squats, if you know what I'm saying. Anybody in the local area that wants to start a gym buddy roundup, let me know. GB Wally says it was NinjaBot Strikes. He says, please analyze that Neo pump. Have a GBDC great day and 1,000 lemons. Thank you so much for the 1,000. Jesus, 1,000 lemons? Ninja Strikes. Thank you so much, my friend. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see where it like tells me this stuff. I don't know if I'm like... That's why I had to buy a new seat. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I had to buy a new seat Toshi, my friend. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. Still haven't figured it all out. Figure it out eventually. But thank you so much, Mr. Ninja Strikes. Let's go take a look at some of that stuff because I think that's interesting after covering the majors here. So, yeah, and Eli back. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, Neo's still pumping. Can you take a look? You know we love to talk about Neo on this channel, man. Oh, sweet, sweet Susie. Give it to me. Yes. Really? Come on, people. You guys know I'm live. People these days, man. All right, so we did talk about the continuation long signal right here 2 days ago on this channel. No, are you serious? We did talk about the continuation long signal on this channel 2 days ago on November the 10th. We did have that continuation long signal. We talked about potential targets for the trade perspective at that point in time. Let's flip into the long. Boom, bam, boom. And we just hit take profit 3 on this wick. Nice opportunity. Now, if you are using 1, 2, 3 for alt BTC trades, which is fine, you know, I do know, again, it just depends on what your risk profile is. It depends on how you've back tested. Depends on kind of what you're going for as well. It depends on, you know, there are multiple approaches to trading alt BTC coins. You can trade them just like you would trade high liquidity dollar pairs like we do. You can do, it's not trophy trading. It's slightly different, whereas you take a small percentage of your profits and you stick it into, you compile a list of altcoins that you like. And you just accumulate that way. You take profits from your trades and you stick them into there. And then when those get a nice big pump, you take your profit, right? And then you just repeat the cycle over and over and over again. Essentially, you're not actively looking to trade them in a trend following method, but you're just looking to accumulate low, very long time frame. And then whenever they pump and give you a good, you know, they're altcoins, so 30 to 50 to 70% return, you take that profit. This is typically more common with low sats and isn't a bad idea. Now, yeah, on the daily time frame, this is pretty beautiful. Again, why are we seeing these altcoin pumps? Because Bitcoin is boring. Altcoins always pump when Bitcoin goes absolutely sideways. And again, you ride that train until it falls off. And you pretty much know because the entire alt market tends to pump together and the entire alt market pretty much tends to dump together, right? And this is for this reason. This is why I've been establishing a couple coins, more longer term positions, as the premium members are well aware of. It was Bogdanoff. Should have picked up. No. Hey, Bogdanoff only ever calls me between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., sir. He knows better. Excuse me. There's not really a whole lot to point out here. Let's plot out logical areas of potential resistance. And we'll use VPVR for this purpose as well. I feel this is pretty obvious right here. So we have our point of control coming in here on, yeah, exact same area, and that's going to correlate to this order block right here. All right, so let's be quite realistic here. We have had a nice little wick up. We've pumped directly through our first high volume node, through this low volume node, and we are touching up against the bottom of the ultimate point of control high volume node cluster. Again, not a bad area to take some profit, especially as we just pointed out, TP3 was just struck. Now, of course, you can always take some profit, move your stop loss to break even, or set a trailing take profit, which is actually how I do it. So my take profit 3 is always structured to be a trailing take profit. So when take profit 3 is reached, you don't actually take profit there. It turns into a trailing take profit. And I think that's good. I think that's good. That's a good way to go about handling these alt BTC trades. We're not going to really know for sure what the future direction of NEO is. Are we going to get a more sustained long-term pump? Are we really going to get a bull rally here in NEO above 1572? Far too early to tell. This is only the second leg up of a movement off of the bottom for NEO BTC. I'd be pretty cautious anywhere getting close to 1534 and 1572. And again, entering into that danger zone right now. Could we see another up candle? Yes, but I think it's far more likely than unlikely that we do see a little bit of a reaction off of that level of supply. It is significant. It is the point of control. And typically those things don't pass unaccounted for. Even Bitcoin, even though people are, even I've said, blew past 6K, everybody thought that was going to be massive resistance. It actually did stop there for one day. Got stopped like a brick, like a truck running into a brick wall, put in a little bit of a downward candle, but then just continued to pump right on up to the upside. What percent of slippage do you use for TP3? So it's going to typically depend on either one of two things. What is the ATR or what is the ATR percentage, which are really the same things. So it's typically going to be the distance from my last take profit or TP1. Some guys do it all the way from break even. So they really let these run quite wide. And that's more like a chandelier stops theory, like 3.5 ATR, 1.5 ATR chandelier stops, where you're trailing an ATR trailing stop behind you and you're expecting price to continue running for quite some time. I think that's better, not with a 1-2-3 strategy. I think that's better with a 50-50 strategy, i.e. you take half of your profit at your first take profit and then you just set a wide trailing stop pretty much right at your break even, and you're just hoping to let that puppy ride for a long, long time. And that's how you capitalize on strong trend following trades. You can also pair that with a scaling in strategy as well. These are all things that I've done in the past as well. Facepalm Jesus says 5,500 or 15,500 next month. End of story, baby. Wally is predicting that Bitcoin might go up, might go down, and might go sideways. You are never wrong, sir. I think you nailed it. Stunning analysis. Let's see here. Neo BTC, GBDC. Again, basically exactly with less volatility, what we're already seeing over there on the Bitcoin chart. Still within the buy zone, GBDC does look bullish. Now, we do have a Minx cross under. We got it on yesterday's candle, and we have it continuing on today, letting us know that we don't actually have a traditional long signal, right? Now, we also don't have a traditional short signal. Why? Because we're above the baseline. So we're just we're consolidating here. It's yet to be seen whether this is reaccumulation and distribution in the buy zone, which is the area between the baseline and the qualifying line. So what would be a bullish signal at this point in time? Price strongly above 10.7638. What would be quite bearish at this point in time? Price below 10.69. There's no action to be taken here. The indicators are conflicted and not giving a strong signal at this point in time. Anthony Liang, 25. VeChain still pumping for 3 weeks now. Look at that baby go. Congratulations to anybody who was in VeChain. I'll tell you what I have noticed, I noticed this the other day. Some people sent some links to me, and there was like this whole, you saw this a lot back in 2017. So it's things like this that make me a little excited for the next altcoin rally, like for alt sneezing. But it seems like every time we've gotten a glimmer of that, it just gets tramped down. But it always comes like a thief in the night. So that's why you never stop looking. is there's this whole like rabid VeChain community. You know, I watched this video last night of, and I personally, I find this stuff fairly ridiculous, but I watched, it wasn't last night, this was like a few days ago. I watched a few minutes of the clip, but it was this guy, terrible sound quality, terrible audio quality, and he's talking about VeChain like people used to talk about Bitcoin back in the day, like, now do you see? Now do you understand? You see what VeChain's doing, all this, that, and the third, and all these partnerships, and French beef, and where's the beef? Do you understand now what VeChain's gonna do for the world? It's like, bro, the shit ain't Bitcoin, man. Like, it's VeChain's cool, man, but it's not gonna overtake or surpass Bitcoin. Like, it's designed to be a completely different thing. Like, again, I talked about VeChain. I've talked about VeChain positively previously. I think it's a good project. I think it's a good coin. I think VeChain has quite good token economics. And I talked about my position in VeChain earlier this week, actually. Yeah, from a technical perspective. Let's see here. So after this movement and this movement, you actually are going to be getting a continuation signal today. Continuation signal today. Let's take a look and see if we got any demand coming up in this house. So let's get rid of that. No, there is really no historical data. I mean, obviously this area is important. This was a previous fairly important floor of VeChain. But other than that, we're pretty much in uncharted territory. VeChain's still too fresh. What have we seen from VeChain? We've seen from its inception, and of course, this is just on the Binance chart, pump to the upside, nothing but continual movement to the downside. And this is our first really significant leg up. This thing has not survived a bull bear cycle. This thing has only lived through a bear cycle. So let's see, we're at pretty uncharted territory. So really it's not difficult to technically trade. You can just technically trade it. But as far as, it just depends on how you're approaching VeChain. Is this a project that you believe in, that you think is great? Well, then you hold it. Are you just looking to trade something that's liquid and active? Well, then you would have been in VeChain from back over here, or you're flipped over to the weekly time frame. We got a weekly long signal last week. So you could have been riding VeChain long all week long. Other than that, yeah, this is good, man. This is good. I would be, as always, I'm always cautious about grabbing altcoins when they're massively pumping like that. My kind of philosophy and theory is if you don't catch the proper long signal, then just sorry, bud. But let's actually switch over here to SMMA. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So as we can see, smoothed out. Now it depends on, I don't recommend this for lower time frames. This is smoother. We'll get you in a little bit later, but it will allow you to capture sustained trends. So let's actually see what we got going on here. So long signal right here on VeChain all the way back on the 30th of October. And what have you gotten with the smooth minks? Not an exit signal. Not an exit signal. You're still in this, baby. So we'll just kind of wait for that exit signal. Almost got it. Almost got it right here. Wave trend oscillator was trying to get you out. Why? Because what we're looking for here is we're looking for the opportunity for high volatility to let us know that price is exhausted. So minks will let you know that. Is BNB the only exchange coin worth punting? I don't think Binance coin is going to go anywhere. It will have its days. It's not a bad hold in my opinion. It holds its value quite well. It is an oscillator. If you're looking for like degen coins to throw your money in, BNB is not it. I think it's going to be relatively more stable. Obviously, it's had a massive run in 2019. I think that's largely past. I don't really see a massive price appreciation coming out of BNB. And actually, I would expect BNB to kind of droop down a little bit more than to the upside over the next 6 to 12 months. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of development comes out of BNB. Would y'all sell old bonds for cash and go all in on Bitcoin right now for the long term? So I don't really like those terms or words. I think that you should have a diversified portfolio, and I think Bitcoin should be a strong part of that. I think the government bonds are basically garbage paper, so take that as you will. All right, let's I don't have anything to say about EOS. I also don't have anything to say about ZERP. Still in an active short on ZERP. This is the Bitcoin chart behind me, but I still do have that active position on XRP as well. So with that being said, guys, we're going to take a brief commercial break. And when we return, we're going to talk about the taglines, guys. We're going to talk about a pump and dump scheme claiming another victim in cryptocurrency. As we know, as this does happen. We're going to talk about the impact of fake news in cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about IBM, and we're going to discuss more on central bank digital currencies. And we're going to talk about a new special blockchain phone for you phonophiles out there. We'll also be taking a few more of your requests. But in the meantime, as a crypto trader, I do most of my trading on ByBit, and I'd like to show you this brief video as to why that is, and we will return after the commercial break, guys. See you guys in just a second. This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. How you doing over there? Welcome back. Bitcoin looking like it wants to take a little bit of a run to the races right here, as we have consolidated above the baseline on the lowest of the low time frames that we will even deign to look at, the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what we get out of this as we continue to move forward. Now, want to make sure to shower some love on our D-Livians over here. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be opening up that chest in about just a few minutes after the first news story, guys. So we're going to jump into the news. We're going to come back. We're going to open up that chest for all the friends and family over on D-Live. And then we're going to talk about IBM. But first, let's talk about today's, again, call it what you will, but we're just going to break down exactly what happened. And this is what's going on over in Tunisia right now. So this is all about Tunisia's central bank and the unfortunate effect that we've seen in the market because of this. So just days ago, reports began to emerge about the North African country of Tunisia. This is all over the news, and we did kind of largely ignore it because, as our team kind of felt, it just was something a little bit off about these reports that were coming out. But the news that came out is that Tunisia was going to be the first country in the world to launch a fully digitized central bank asset, dubbed the e-dinar. Now, the story initially broke via a Russian news agency, claiming that Tunisia would begin moving its national currency officially over to a blockchain platform. And it was reported that the currency would launch on an obscure blockchain platform known as Universa, the CEO of which, Alexander Borodich, he appeared at the Malta Blockchain Summit just recently ago, stating that Universa is, quote, the world's fastest blockchain. We've heard that before, nano. Now, the claim has since, however, with news coming out recently now, which justifies our feelings to kind of hold back on reporting this, the claim has now been refuted, with Tunisia's central bank itself publishing an official statement denying its movement toward a national currency on a blockchain platform or any plans of launching an electronic dinar or an e-dinar. Now, according to that same publication by Tunisia's central bank, they are merely conducting research into the possible risks or benefits associated with digitizing their currency or with digital currencies in general, including issues of cybersecurity and financial stability that this adoption might promote or disincentivize in their nation. Now, the bank emphasized that this is merely an early investigation into potential use cases with no finalized decisions of adoption or immediate plans to, again, launch a digital version of the dinar. Now, the Central Bank of Tunisia also clarified that it has no ongoing relationship with any third-party currency provider, despite the claims of Universa's CEO, the grand claims that he made at the Malta Blockchain Summit of partnership with the Tunisian Central Bank. Now, unfortunately, when this news first broke several days ago, of the world's first central bank digital asset to launch on the Universa blockchain, when this began to trend late last week, the native digital token of the Universa blockchain, known as Universa UTNP, witnessed a dramatic rally. Between the 7th and the 9th of November, the token climbed from around 0.0016 dollars, so 0.16 cents, to almost as high as 0.46 cents within less than a day. So almost a 190% gain within less than 48 hours. Now, this week, UTNP briefly touched as high as 0.94 cents and has held around 0.64 cents until yesterday. Now that the truth has come out, suggesting that Universa's claims may have been greatly exaggerated, or dare I say fraudulent, and it is not actually involved with the Tunisian central bank in any official relationship, the token has seen a steep sell-off, falling over 50% to touch down to 0.29 cents. Now, Universa still maintains, however, that it has in fact launched a digital version of the dinar, although it would now seem that it is merely a third-party stablecoin pegged to the Tunisian dinar and has no official relationship or association whatsoever to the Tunisian central bank. So, unfortunately, in this era that we do exist in cryptocurrency, we're going to see, and we have seen, and we will continue to see a lot of this. Now, I don't want to be first to the gate to call this fraudulent or a pump and dump scheme, but what would you think, looking at the facts, looking at what we've seen, looking at this massive rapid valuation and speculation going out? So, it's really, really critical, guys, because I do approach this space as a trader and an investor and a lover of this space. Again, if I have not made it clear why I am here, why I come to you every single day, why I run the premium trading group, why I spend and have devoted my life and all of my time to teaching, to mentoring, to sharing my knowledge, to sharing my wisdom, to assembling a team of the best people that I can find in this space to work with me, it's because taking the path toward financial freedom and independence has been life-changing for me. It's allowed me to provide, in my opinion, from where I came from, a beautiful lifestyle and level of comfort for my family. It's given me confidence. It's given me the ability to pursue what I truly love. It's given me the ability to do what most people only dream of doing, which is, if I don't like you, you're not in my life. I don't rely on anybody for my income. I don't rely on anybody for my sustainability. I don't rely on the government or another human being or an employer. Right? And I think that this is the path, the entrepreneurial path, the hustling path. I think this is the path toward financial freedom that I advocate for as many people who will reach out and grab it. We live in an age where it's absolutely possible. We live in an age where knowledge is at your fingertips. We live in an age where the only thing that holds you back is fear. It's absolutely reachable. Now, I am not the biggest fan of government. That might have come across in the live streams. I'm not the biggest fan of the way that things are going. And it's my hope that if I can just reach one person, and thankfully I've been blessed enough to know that I've reached hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, from the communications that I have, not only in the Discord, but in my email and on the stream. If I can just help a small number of people get their feet on that path and understand what to do, then I've done something. Again, I've walked through this pedigree before. Start by improving yourself. Start by improving your relationships with your family. Start by improving your relationships with your local community. And then look what you can do on a larger scale with a larger platform. If you have a voice and you have a story to tell, and everybody does, but you do have to get to the point where you deserve to tell that story. Otherwise, people will not listen to you. I spent the last 10 years doing that work. And now I'm here attempting the best that I can to do the last leg of that work. And I hope that what I do will be a legacy. I hope that what I've done, what I've built, I'll be able to pass down to my children. That's my earnest desire. And I know many of you share that same desire with me for your own lives, for your own motivations, for your own family. And I want to cross that finish line with as many as you as possible. I want to get to that area of security, stability, and independence with as many of you as possible. And it's been so inspiring seeing the work of the premium members, the students that I mentor, everybody that I communicate with on a daily basis that is putting in the work, putting in the time, educating themselves and growing and contributing. It's absolutely amazing. And this space allows us to do this entire plan on a much more rapid scale. So investment, discipline, frugality, these are the steps financially to get where you want to get. And we need to be really, really cautious about crossing that line between investment and trading. Trading represents my active income. Investment represents my passive income. Both are necessary, I think. Both are both to me, that's been my pathway. Other people will follow different pathways. But you got to be really careful in this space because you will see stuff like this frequently, and you need to be cautious, and you need to be on your toes, and you need to be aware, and above and all, you need to do your own research. And I think having that healthy dose of skepticism is a good marker for that, right? And this is why, even though you have to understand, I meet lots of coin projects. I like a lot of these people. They're all good people. Almost all the developers are good people. They're honestly and earnestly trying to build something that they love and that they think is good. But when I talk as an investor, the first thing I say to you guys is telling you that it doesn't matter how awesome the people are. It doesn't matter how awesome the project is. If you're buying a token, you're not investing in the company. The only thing that matters is the token economics. Now, STOs are a little bit different. That's why I'm very, very interested in STOs. But just be cautious of this stuff. I don't want anybody to be caught in the crossfire. It's obviously euphoric and amazing to catch the 190% to the upside, but it's absolutely terrifying and debilitating if you catch the 50% to the downside. Just be cautious. With great risk comes great reward. Can't get into my CoinX account on the phone. Went all in on Bro last night. Hope it's still pumping. Aw, we have to learn in order to earn? I thought we weren't going to get burned. Jack says he's heard rumors that McDonald's is going to launch its next Big Mac Futures supply chain product on VeChain by next week. Pump my bags, boys. Let's go, man. Let's go. Hold on. I got to buy some VeChain right now. Hold on. Can you cut? Can you cut? Just buy VeChain. Does my hand hurt? No, not at all. Okay, let's take a gander at that D-Live chest for you guys, because you have deserved it. Here we go. Opening up that chest. Bing, bam, boom, distributing those rewards. Dun, 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 dun. 10 more seconds, guys. Oh, he's crossing his legs. It's getting serious up in here now. All right, luckiest followers distributed 65.1 lemons. GBU Wally cashing in with 32.2. Big Saintsy 18.9 and Hugo Chill 13.9. Congratulations, guys. Let's do it again sometime. Same time tomorrow with the big win. All right. Now, the next story that I want to talk about, kind of on the same page, we have been talking about central bank digital assets because I think it's very, very critical that people be aware of exactly what we're in for as a society, as an individual investor, and as a cryptocurrency speculator over the next coming periods of time, years, potentially. So, obviously, faced with a rapidly advancing technological development in front of them and threatened with losing monetary control, it could be said that central banks are a little worried and are actively focused on developing and issuing crypto or digital assets of their own. Indeed, according to an IBM commissioned report, central bank issued digital currency could be ready for the mainstream consumer within the next 5 years. Now, this report was co-authored by the think tank OMFIF. Where do you work, man? I work at OMFIF. Huh? Which is the official monetary and financial institutions forum, and the IT giant IBM. And the report is titled Retail CBDs, the Next Payment Frontier. And it highlights the challenges that central banks are facing since the advent of Bitcoin and its underlying technology, blockchain. It is these technological innovations which are causing policymakers to react around the globe in many different nation states. Because according to the report, quote, advances in financial technology are compelling central banks to react to emergent challenges from the private sector and address weaknesses in currently existing payment systems. Now, it's not just the bureaucrats and the regulators that have cryptocurrency on their radar either. Researchers also point out that since the financial crisis of 2008, consumer trust in financial institutions and central banking is on a rapid descent. Who would have thought? And the role of private and public institutions insofar as creating money is up for public debate. It's the first time that we've had this conversation in the public arena in a serious fashion. Now, the report did conclude that as a response to these challenges, central banks are being forced to seriously consider the introduction of digital currencies for retail use within the next 5 years or get left behind. The report defines central bank issued cryptocurrency as follows. 1. A CBDC is a digital asset to be issued by a central bank for the purpose of payment and settlement in either retail or wholesale transactions. A retail CBDC would be used like a digital extension of cash by all people and companies, whereas a wholesale CBDC could be used only by permitted institutions as a settlement asset in the interbank market. So they get the discount dollars, basically what we're talking about here, of course, because if anybody's going to be making money around here, it's going to be me, said every bank everywhere at all times throughout history that we've had banks. The report also pointed out that the use of cash around the globe continues to decline, particularly in developing countries, which is very interesting. In contrast, the use of private, decentralized cryptocurrency only continues to rise. Don't believe the FUD, shit's on the ascent. Now, the IBM study also found that the cost of handling cash and the related logistical challenges to physical money only continue to rise year after year after year. Therefore, in order to maintain control of the public means of payment, policymakers will have to turn their focus toward blockchain and other technologies in order to keep pace. The report concluded with a survey of central banks revealing 73% of them would require an expansive payment infrastructure in order to be ready to replace all payments and transactions where cash is currently being used. Now, IBM and OnFifth carried out the study earlier this year, and it included contribution from 23 leading central banks. So the fire has been lit underneath the keisters of the money handlers. What way do you guys see this playing out? I don't want to refer us back to the original argument that I've made many times, which is that this ends in a battle, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, in the comment section down below, if you do happen to be watching this at a later period in time. It's kind of all we got for today. It is 1:16, kind of a slow news day, but this is important stuff that we need to be aware of. And I just bring you guys the best information that me and my team kind of come up with that we think you guys need to be thinking about and need to be focused on as well. Back to the charts, and we did get that nice little 15-minute pop-up a Rooney right there. All right, let's see what you guys got to say. There's nothing like a live chest opening that really shows the lag between live YouTube and live DLive. The DV8, thank you so much for the follow over there on DLive, my good friend. Ricky Thompson says that Alan Greenspan, he of the Trustworthiness, did an interview last night, and he said that doing a digital federal coin offers no advantage over the current system, meaning how it's backed. The advantage is in the cost of managing the system. Yes, of course, because cash requires an extensive infrastructure. Now, it's going to be expensive to build up the digital infrastructure to accept fully digital payments and outlaw cash, but the problem is with the reduction of privacy. Cash allows people to have private transactions that are not easily tracked. Once cash disappears, which keep in mind, cash will be abolished by central banks probably within our lifetime, probably by nation states within our lifetime. Life moves fast. You know, technology moves very quickly nowadays, and I don't see that changing. B-Flow says, slow news day, except for the most important news, the BTC brawl on ByBit. Yes, that is a good opportunity to mention that, my friend. Let's head on over to the ByBit chart. The BTC brawl is coming soon to ByBit. So if you guys do want to partake in this, this is going to be a global trading challenge. ByBit has been kind enough to nominate me as a captain for a team. So essentially, if you would like to trade along with us, there is going to be, I believe, up to $50 participation prizes. I don't want to misquote this. I think it's a 100, or it's got to be, I think it's a 100 BTC prize pool potentially. It is going to be a pretty big event. It's going to be pretty global. There's going to be a lot of traders participating in this, a lot of prizes, a lot of opportunities to make quite a bit of money. And I hope that this is positive for the market. I am looking forward to increased volatility as we move forward with this BTC brawl. Now, we've got some time, but if you do want to sign up, there is the affiliate link down in the description below, bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. And you can sign up for our team when it does go live on the website. You'll just go to bybit.com and you'll just go to the link where they'll have on the main page. You can sign up for the Cracking Cryptocurrency team. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with the EOS Global Trading Competition last time, and we did place in the top 20, did pretty good. So pretty suited and booted and ready to hit it pretty hard this year for the BTC Trading Competition. It's a pretty big event, and I'm excited to guide us through as best as we can. So keep you guys updated on that. If you have any questions or any ideas, please let us know in the comment section down below or in the Discord. All right. Oh, there it is right there. That little did give us the 12-hour exit signal. Nothing to do right now. Got to wait for the daily close this evening. Let's see what we get throughout the day. Nice little volume spike up here to our previous level of supply, where individuals were setting their stop losses before they got hunted on that movement to the upside. Let's see what kind of reaction we get here. Either swift rejection, but if we do close a 15-minute candle above this, I would expect that carry through to be pretty rapid, actually. Oh, dear Lord, thank you, Light Yagami. I didn't know what to do with myself. Now you're here, my friend. Jack says, within 5 years of central bank digital currencies, rollouts might take some by surprise, but I bet most of our audience will have seen it coming. Brandon Green asks, how much is your Signal group per month? So we are not a Signal group. We are a trading education community. We focus on teaching individuals the skills that they need to be long-term profitable traders. We do lay out exactly how to build a if this then that trading system step by step in our Pathways to Profit course. We do provide signals, but we're not a signals group. All that information is at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com, my friend. We have different tiers for whatever it is that you possibly, or excuse me, for whatever is right for where you're sitting at with your trading experience and where you're sitting at with your budget. What's my opinion about the 2020 global economic recession? Do I think it's good for the crypto industry? I don't really know, to be quite honest with you. We've never seen Bitcoin in a global economic recession. I'm also not convinced that we're going to have a global economic recession next year. It's very rare that everybody gets it right. But I guess, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So my thoughts are, we don't know. And anybody that says they do know is not being true, because we don't have any historical data to go on. So this is just going to be speculation. But my speculation, is that Bitcoin will perform well in an economic recession. It has gained enough traction. It has gained enough network momentum. People in the mainstream already all know what Bitcoin is. And those who are just one step further savvier have heard it and store of value in the same sentence, right? Most people have already heard that. Now, most people aren't familiar with how to use Bitcoin, but they've heard it. They know it exists, just like they know gold exists. Now, most people are like, oh, I don't know how to get gold. But all it takes is like one infomercial for people to realize, like, hey, Bitcoin is literally at your fingertips. It is one step away. Gold is you have to buy it, you have to store it. It's heavy, it's shiny, it's complicated. If you're buying bullion from a bullion dealer, then it's expensive. And if you're trying to buy wholesale, or not wholesale, but if you're trying to buy at a better rate through a brokerage like I do, then it's a slow process. It's a very slow process. I mean, honestly, I had some physical palladium that was delivered to me like a while ago. I talked about that earlier this year, and that was a pain in the ass. It was a serious pain in the ass to get that done. But, it is what it is. But if we do have a significant recession and people start seeing their savings being eaten into, people are already fed up with government, man. And I don't want to say government, because government's different. People are already fed up with the monetary policies of government, right? Not to mention that they're further exasperated by the foreign and domestic policies of most governments as well. So we're at a pretty important inflection point, and it's not going to take much for a watershed moment. It's not going to take much. So we'll see. Could be that, we just have a very slow, pronounced recession, and we don't get a big freak out, and people do the right thing for a change, which would be the first in an economic downturn ever. And that Bitcoin just kind of limps lazily along, and it's going to need another kind of catalyst to go on a big price appreciation. But overall, I think that Bitcoin is still in a price discovery speculative market. I think the direction is up over the long term because of all the value that Bitcoin holds, and it will just take patience for this to all work itself out. In the meantime, we have an extremely exciting volatile market that we can use to earn active income. All right, Ian Corritor. Juan BTC continuation long signal last night. This isn't too bad because, listen, we cannot use, obviously we see price dropping here a little bit. We cannot use current data for the decision that we would have made yesterday. This is a good trade. This is a continuation trade. CCI is above. Volatility filters even above. It's not bad. And we can't. And the fact that Bitcoin is having a little bit of price appreciation right now is the reason why our alt BTC pairs are moving to the downside. We're already seeing individuals trying to react early on and push that liquidity down, which is just something that does happen. But overall, this is a good qualifying trade. Deep in thought. Turn the music on as we got slightly slow day. Crypto Caveman says, I've been working on a strategy on the 3-hour time frame. Would you say that's too low? No. All that matters is how you manage risk. I have nothing wrong with the 3-hour time frame. I'm a pretty big fan of the 2-hour time frame. I think it strikes a good balance. We did talk about Neo BTC earlier. We did a full analysis of that, my friend. Don't recommend entry right now, but holding the position open seems justified. Actually, the trade we called 2 days ago just would have hit take profit 3 on today's candle, meaning you can let a trade run with a trailing stop at this point in time. Let's do, what was I going to say? The Binance closure, I'm not aware of that. And I just did a check Twitter. All right, let's check the tweet war. Bitcoin buying this week. When you realize what is actually happening, it is quite funny, but it isn't, obviously. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Decent. Decent. Cool. Let's go back and look at Mm-hmm. We're going to get a little bit of a further little pop here on Bitcoin to the upside. Doc USTT. Ooh, Binance will perform a scheduled system upgrade starting at 2019, 11:13, 2 a.m. UTC. They'll be down for 4 to 6 hours. Well, thank you for your announcement, Mr. Binance. So make sure you guys got all your business done 11:13 by 2 a.m. UTC. Doc USDT. When Bitcoin is looking like this, when we're on the verge of a breakout to 10,000, this is not a setup that I like, sir. We are below the daily baseline. Minx is below the zero line. Commodity Channel Index is below the zero line. I do have a little bit of enhanced volatility down here, which is something that once in a while I will look at for the purposes of reversal baseline bounces. The only thing here that's positive, and it's very tenuous, because this is, you know, I like Doc. Don't get me wrong. I like Doc's one of my better shitcoins to trade. I mean, the only thing that's really positive here is, again, this level of demand that we've seen. But lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Eventually that breaks at some point in time, and this does not look the healthiest, sir. You know, if you're a reversal trader, obviously this is a pretty good, clean looking setup. It's dangerous though, but that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how you position size. So you got a nice accumulation band here between like 96.54 and 90.31. And the way that this works is you try to take price up to the baseline, which is currently sitting at 0.012 for Doc USDT. Not a trending trade whatsoever. Not on the 12, not on the 4, nor even on the 2. So there's not a whole lot of opportunity here. So this isn't really something that I recommend. The only thing positive that I see here is the supply zone right here. So if this has been your setup, if you are a supply and demand trader, or you are a support and resistance trader, I think this setup would make a whole lot of sense if that is your strategy and edge. But that is not mine, so please proceed with caution. Justin, where's all that Ichimoku voodoo that you do? We can do some Ichimoku. Did I see the BTC pump on BTC USD FTX? I'm looking at the perp swap on FTX right now, and I don't see a pump. I mean, I don't see anything that's un natural. You either got to enable chart layout sharing, my friend, or publish the idea. What you need to do is hit this button right here that looks like a camera in the top right of your screen, and then send me that link. Oh, they already fixed it. Roy Coin asks about Volatility Expander. I just started recruiting beta testers for both Parallax and the Volatility Expander a couple evenings ago. So I am still assembling that team. That means it's in the alpha version of its release, and so it's getting really close. Peckham27, stupid question. Is there a way of tracking institutional accounts via BTC, i.e. is there a way to even know that? Yeah, Chainalysis, but it's not going to be publicly available. I mean, there are firms and companies that are fully founded around Chainalysis and providing that to institutional clients or to people who are willing to pay for that information. So that information is definitely out there to the best of its ability, but it's very hard to track stuff OTC as well. But again, you can do stuff on Chainalysis. There's a lot of ways to do things. FTX was a wick to 10K. They resolved it and are investigating. Well, you know what that means. It's summer weather out here in Bitcoin City. Get your shorts on. There it is. Sorry, guys. I bumped the keyboard. All right. I didn't want to admit it, but I bumped the keyboard. Okay. Midwest Attempts called Doc BTC in his analysis channel yesterday, which hit take profit 1 at 18 sats. All right, so let's look at Ichimoku here on BTC USD by request and see what we see. On the daily, suppression from the cloud, suppression from the cloud, suppression from the cloud. Let's see here. Tenkan Kijun cross, but price is below the Kijun and the Tenkan, which is nasty. And, you know, the Chico, on the other hand, is kind of bouncing off support right here. So this is not a very... Market structure shifted right here after this candle, according to Ichimoku, because we are above the cloud. Things are quite bullish. We actually get the TK cross under right here, letting us know, hey, start scaling out of those long positions if you entered down here on the cloud break. And unfortunately, guys, things now look quite different. So we would need to see price above the bottom boundary of the cloud right here around 87.84 on the daily time frame to consider an edge-to-edge trade up to 10.2. We unfortunately now have current overhead resistance in the form of not only the... Let me make sure I got this right. This is 2061, 2030. 2061, 2030. We have overhead resistance now in the form of both the conversion line and the baseline coming in around 89.26. Which is a pretty good area to be exiting shorts if we do end up closing the daily above that level. And again, the bottom boundary of the cloud. Currently sitting around 87.96 or about 8,800. Let's see here. $12-hour time frame. We did get an edge-to-edge trade right there. same thing. 12-hour time frame, bearish, sitting under resistance in the form of the Ichimoku cloud. Tenkan Kijun cross under, which is looming. And this doesn't look good. We would now the future cloud is a little bullish, but we do need to break above 91.25 to be taking that trade on the 12-hour. Getting down to the 4-hour time frame, that's not good either. Tenkan Kijun cross right here. Price bearish, price getting rejected by the 4-hour baseline right here, just as we talked about. Price underneath a green cloud. Therefore, if we do end up crossing and closing above 89.28, 89.56 at this point in time, we could be looking for an edge-to-edge trade, but the cloud is curling and twisting down, meaning we are about to get a bearish Kumo cloud on the 4-hour time frame. So this does not look very good, man. This does not look healthy, sir. As far as Tezos is concerned, I know, to the best of my knowledge, Alex got us into a pretty good position on Tezos. Hello, sir. And I want to be very consistent with what I said the other day on Tezos. So $1.11 and $1.02. Looking for that nice Goldilocks zone. Looking for the qualifying zone. Other than that, I'm not really trying to run and chase this up unless we get a nice, clean continuation signal, which we have not yet. You can see that we got the exit signal on this massive pump to the upside, which is gorgeous. And Tezos was not only a trade here, it was also a trade here, right here. Long trade and out on this candle right here. So beautiful Tezos pump there on XTZ USD. Can we get another leg up immediately? I mean, yeah, we could. Let's see what we got going on. Not a lot of historical data here for Tezos. Consistent floor above the point of control, and the point of control fits up almost beautifully, perfectly with where our baseline is sitting at. So again, I'd like to see price down below $1.11, $1.02. Might jig-jag a little bit to get down there, but eventually I feel that's where we want to go. And then we'll just wait for a reaction off of that level, continuation signal, or we'll have the setup for a reversal baseline bounce. Daily time transformation sell signal yesterday, and currently getting the follow through on that. But I think the staking is pretty good. I think it's like 8%. All right, guys. Well, I think that's kind of a good time to call it, guys. Pretty good time to call it. I do want to play just because it's good times. For anybody who missed the Bitcoin weather report in the first hour, and let me know your comments if you feel we should play it in both hours. I just want to make sure that anybody who joined in the second hour and didn't catch it in the first hour doesn't miss it. But looking at this bearish price action, we do want to go over for a recap of the Bitcoin weather report from junior analyst Midwest Attempts. Midwest Attempts, what do you got for us today?
Dump it. Dump it all. Just get rid of it. It's going to zero. to you. Back to you.
Again, hang in there, buddy. We'll make it through. We'll make it through. We've been in a bear market before. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I've been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys go on to have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. As always, trade safely. If you guys would like to join us in the premium group and get with us on the path toward financial freedom and understanding how to be a consistently profitable trader. Sorry, my desk bothers me. Make sure to check out the link at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And whatever you do, join us in the Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Links in the description down below for all your earthly desires, some ethereal desires as well. And I'm not talking Ethereum. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below on YouTube at yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Trade safely. I will see you guys all in the next one because we are here every single day across multiple platforms. Tomorrow at noon Central Standard Time. Set your clocks, set your calendars, tell your loved ones you're busy for those 2 hours. That's cracking cryptocurrency time. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Be good. I'll see you all tomorrow.